Hello, my name is Blake Williams. I'm currently a culinary student, and today I'm going to be making something delicious. Mother and my brother and his girlfriend. School. I wanted to do one thing: make people happy. I love seeing people happy. So if my baked goods can make someone happy, I will have done my job. And today, we're making some cakes with a beautiful flavor in the summertime, lemon. Lemon is an odd flavor. It's citrusy and wonderful, but very tart and not pleasant to eat. But when you introduce sugar, it brings all of it together to create something amazing. And for that reason, I'm going to teach you how to make some 4-inch lemon blueberry cakes with a cream cheese glaze. Let's get to work. For today's tools, you're going to need a stand mixer, a medium bowl or just bowls, a sifter, measuring cups in both large and small, 8 4-inch cake rounds, a juicer, a kitchen scale, a zester, a rubber spatula, and finally, measuring spoons in all different sizes. For your cake ingredients, you are going to need 374 grams or 2 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 362 grams or 1 3/4 cup of sugar, 86 grams or 6 tablespoons of sour cream, 1 stick of unsalted butter at room temperature, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 4 eggs, half a cup of vegetable oil, 1/4 of a cup of buttermilk, as many blueberries as you want, and lemons, the zest of 2, and enough juice to get you about half a cup of juice. For the cream cheese frosting, you're going to need 1 block of cream cheese, 240 grams or about 2 cups of powdered sugar, 2 to 4 tablespoons of milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Each cake has 893 calories. By themselves, they have 111 grams of sugar, 274 milligrams of sodium, 38 grams of fat, 136 grams of carbohydrates, 6 grams of protein, and 140 milligrams of cholesterol. If you add the frosting, it adds an additional 74 grams of carbs, including 11 grams of sugar, 3 grams of fat, 11 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of protein. With nutritional facts out the way, with our ingredients covered, and our tools necessary, let's get going. Before we preheat our oven, let us prepare our cake tins. What you're going to want to do is take some cooking spray and spritz the inside of the tin. Then, what you want to do is you want to take some parchment paper, whether by a parchment round like this, or a tin like this. You're going to want to put it inside of the cake tin. And it's what's going to allow our cake to come out a lot easier. Now we're simply going to preheat our oven on the bake setting for 350 degrees. In a medium bowl, we're going to combine our flour, our baking powder, and our baking baking soda. And then we're going to give it a good mix. You want to make sure that you mix it well. That is how we are going to get an even distribution to allow the baking powder to do its magic. In the bowl of a stand mixer, or just a large bowl, you're going to want to combine your oil, your softened butter, and your sugar. And now you're going to want to beat this for 1.5 to 2 minutes. You just want to make sure it looks like this, nice and fluffy. Back in the bowl. This is now the point where we add our vanilla, which is just 1 teaspoon. And we add in our sour cream. Make sure you get all of it that you can. And then we beat until incorporated. You want to add 1 egg at a time. And then once you do that, you're going to want to beat in the mixture. And make sure you do this every single time until each egg is incorporated. Now that all of our eggs have been incorporated, it's time to start adding in our dry mixture. You're going to want to make sure to add about half of the dry mixture. That way, hey, we can add the rest later. But it's also because we're doing a dry, wet, dry measure, which means you add half the dry now, then you add in your liquid, and then you add the rest of the dry. Now that that's in, you're going to want to make sure to go slow now. You do not want to over mix. The reason you don't... Now it's time to create the buttermilk lemon mixture. Now you want to add all of it at once to the batter, so we're going to combine everything, which means we need a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. And then we're going to have to follow with the curious thing of the lemons. Now, the recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of juice. Now that you have zested your lemons, you're going to want to cut your lemons in half. And then, taking your juicer, you're going to press down on it and twist and squeeze out as much of the juice as you can possibly get. Remember, you want 1/2 cup. Now, we're going to have to do this super fast. So we're going to add the zest into the buttermilk. And then, we're going to add the lemon juice. The mixture in. And beat. You want to make sure it's on a low enough speed so that way all of the liquid can incorporate into the batter. Here. Now that that's done, we can now add the rest of the dry ingredients. Now this is going to be the most important part of the batter, because this is the last of the flour. Again, just a reminder, do not overmix or you're going to make tough cakes, which is not good. Now that we have everything prepared, let's fill these pans. So now, first, you're going to want to make sure to get about 1/2 cup of the batter. Smooth it out, so now it's covered the sides. Then, what you're going to want to do is dump the 1/2 cup into one of these tins. So you're going to make sure to scrape out all of it, pop it in, spread it down, Then we can add the blueberries. Now, depending on the size of the blueberries, you can add as many or as little as you want. And considering these are a bit massive, we're gonna add maybe 1, 2, 3. Let's add a fourth one. Make sure they go into the batter. Actually, add a fifth one. And then we're gonna cover it with another half cup of batter. Spread the batter down all around. Maybe add another berry or two if you desire. And now that we have one prepared, we'll prepare the 7 other. Take our cream cheese glaze. So for this, you're gonna want 1 pack of your cream cheese. And then you're gonna want to sift in your powdered sugar. This will take a bit. Powdered sugar has been sifted. You're gonna want to add your teaspoon of vanilla. Now with your paddle attachment, beat until everything is incorporated. Now the frosting is somewhat coming together. I want to add your milk as it runs. High, and make sure it's 1 tablespoon at a time. I'm looking for 2 to 4 here. Now mine took about 2 tablespoons of milk, which got me a pretty decent glaze consistency. Now it's time to bake our cakes. What you're gonna want to do, take your prepared cakes and pop them into the oven and set a timer for 15 minutes. Now that the first timer's done, take your oven mitt, you're gonna pull out a bit and you're gonna turn the cakes around. Now, they're going to continue baking for another 10 minutes. Decorate it a bit. Firstly, you can take the cream cheese glaze. Smell. Top with blueberries. Zest of lemon. And that is how you make lemon blueberry cake.